What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. Today is a bittersweet day. That's because we're finally putting parts back on the truck. Now, I just want to say that my whole goal with this project was to get the nicest, best job that I could with aerosol. And I'm not going to say it's perfect, because it's not. It could do a lot better. Things could be a lot better. There's a lot of mistakes. But like I said before, that's why I do this. I'm doing it to learn. I'm not saying it's bad though. I got the grill back on. I got it buffed out. It's got a few flaws in it, but as far as this is concerned, this is aerosol. I don't know if you guys can see any reflections. It's nice, it's smooth, good clear, but at the same time, it's not your standard aerosol paint. This is probably the last step, last stage, last level, however you want to say it, before you strictly shoot out of a gun, which from here on out, I'm hardly ever going to use aerosol, because this sucks. I really didn't have a good time doing this. I will say I learned a lot with it. Kind of snowballed a little bit, because my first thought was I was just going to get the parts hung. I was going to get them wet sanded down, smoothed out, shoot another coat of color, and then clear, and then be done. So if you can imagine, that's not how it went down. So I ended up, and believe it or not, the stuff that's hanging right now, this is all stuff that had flaws in it. I need better lighting in here. I'm fixing some light spots. Everything's ready for clear. This guy right here, this is my wild card. I don't even know if I want to call it a wild card, but this one is nowhere near done. I'm just putting color on it now, but if you remember, so we filled in the license plate holes because I didn't like them. Now I'm putting color back on this. I need to put clear on this. These I found light spots in, so they all got sanded down. This one actually needs wet sanded. The whole thing needs wet sanded, so it's ready for clear. But let me show you guys what I used, because this stuff is good stuff. The paint I used, and like I was saying, I went kind of down a rabbit hole. So when I got everything wet sanded down, ready to go, there was a lot of bare spots, a lot of bare plastic. So I thought, you know what, rather than just shooting the paint over that, maybe causing issues later down the road, I need to put primer on it. So I used this. This is a 2K quick dry filler primer. And the thing about these is they are catalyzed. This is a catalyzed can of paint. So what that means, this button, so this is my clear, I haven't opened yet. This thing comes out, right? You put that down. You put that down, and you see this little button on the bottom of the can? You actually put that on this red thing, and that's what it's for. And you push down, like this, and that breaks a seal in there. I don't know what's in there, but anyway, it adds the catalyst. So once this can is activated, you have I think this one was a 24, yeah, you have a 24-hour pot life, which means whatever you do and don't use in 24 hours, whatever's left in this can is junk. It's garbage, it's trash. And then same with the clear. This is a can I haven't cracked yet. This is what I'm going to use on all that stuff. This is 2K clear, high gloss clear. It's got the same button on the bottom, and we're not going to crack that till we're ready for it. So these are automotive grade paints. These aren't just your normal Krylon, Rust-Oleum, whatever you want to say. Pick a brand, Duplicolor, I don't care. But this is automotive grade paint. This is good paint. This is basically the same stuff you're going to shoot out of a gun. It's just in a spray can. Now the color's about the same. I got this at Napa too. What they do is they actually go through and they mix paint, automotive paint, like you would if you're going to go get a pint or a quart or whatever it is, gallon, from a parts store to shoot through a gun. They mix it and then they inject it into this can. The can, as far as I know or was told, it doesn't have a pot life. It's not catalyzed, so it'll last a while. But that's what I use. That's all 3 stages. So I'm really having a hard time with this because aerosol shoots a lot different than a gun. I haven't really done much paint work with a gun, but let me just say I will after this is all said and done, because I had light spots, low spots. This one here, everything was all good, fine and dandy, and then when I went to buff it with my little buffer, I actually got a little thin here and burnt through the clear there. It's all just stuff I need to learn and figure out, but as far as aerosol goes, I'm done with it. That being said, today's gonna be a good day because, like I said, we got the grill back on the truck. This stuff's gonna get clear. I don't want to crack that can until this has good coverage on it. This is just a light coat now, more like a tack coat than anything, but I need to go back through, put more color on this guy, let it all dry. Let's see. This needs wet sanded and buffed still, but I didn't do this part because I'm re-clearing this part. And it just goes on and on. This is my tailgate handle. I am not going to go through wet sand and buff that because it's fine generally. This one is the first one I did. This one actually turned out really good. Nice and glossy, and you wouldn't know that this is aerosol. Same with this. This is all done and wet sanded, buffed, ready to go on the truck. Now, I will say, and I was talking to a buddy about this last night, the main difference between automotive and this stuff, fun fact here. So originally when I went to wet sand and buff this, I used 1000 grit paper. 1000 grit didn't go too bad, just got the orange peel out of it, and my little buffer, I have a little white pad on it, whatnot. 1000 grit paper left deep sanding marks. I had to go down to 1500 grit paper, which is weird because I've seen 1000 grit on normal automotive paint shot out of a gun because it shoots thicker or something. Maybe it's harder. It didn't get those deep sanding scratches. So that's one thing I did have to do with this stuff, is I had to go through again with 1500, buff it down, and since I was so worried about burning through that clear, I sanded as little as possible, just enough to get the any glossy spots out of it and orange peel down. it's about time to get all this put back together. Luckily, my dumbass didn't hit record when I put the bucket back on. What I did, just a fun fact for anybody who ever wants to do this and take the bucket off, to get it back on, I got a piece of all thread, a couple sockets, and use them as a press to clamp it back together. There's a boss right here, flange. I got one socket up against, and then that little collar piece, put another socket in that and just tightened the all thread down, pulled that together, and it seated it. At this point I really don't even care, but I'll order new ones. Be careful putting your glass back in, it will break. But it's been so long, I don't care. I'll order new glass and we'll fix that later, but I'm gonna start getting mirrors back on this thing. Alrighty guys, as you can see behind me, it's all back together, finally. Front bumper piece is on, grill's on, mirrors are on, both sides. Now, I'm not going to say I'm a professional, I'm not even going to say I know what I'm doing, so don't take this as a how-to or a instruction. This is how I did it. Apparently there's a lot of improvement to be done, but at the end of the day, I did it myself. And that's, in my mind, that's what matters. So I know this video is pretty long and drawn out. It took a while to get it back together, the final details. It just takes me a while to get this kind of stuff done. So I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next one.